All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect feeding the sheep of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Yahweh is a true name of the Heavenly Father, which the world ignorantly calls God. Ba'ashem means in the name of, and Yahushai is a true name of the Son, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His true name is Yahushai, and those are the names written in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, and this is the language of the Israelites, which the true Israelites, which consists of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, as well as you Israelite foreigners, and Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson as well. All right, and I'm going to be speaking about go to the ant, thou sluggard. Okay, that should be the title of this video, because basically, I was basically walking earlier, and these ants were basically picking up food, and the food that weighed literally more than them. Okay, and the scriptures speak about this, right, and ants can be likened unto, in this case, the prophets, man, because we should take what's the word, man? We should take consideration, right? That what these ants, how they labor, right? We should basically study these ants, right? And the same way they labor, okay, constantly labor, we should be just like them, in a way where we're making more videos for Yahushai, okay, doing more work for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, okay, we're how do I say it? We're basically we're laboring constantly, okay. That's how we should be, just like these ants, okay, because the Lord put the Spirit on them to do what they're supposed to do, despite being so small, right? You when you're a little kid, you basically think that these ants, they can't think, or they're not useful or anything, but no, they are useful, right? And for the ecosystem and whatnot, right? But also, they're just an example of how to be, okay. This is Proverbs 6 and verse 6. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, and consider her ways, and be wise, which, having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest. Okay, and ultimately, man, these ants, you have to look at them as an example. That's the word I was going to use. Because most of our people, and I'm speaking of these 2/3, right? A lot of these amongst our people are the nation of Israel, which really, if you're a 2/3, you're not even on this side. You're not even considered an Israelite at that point. You're basically counted as a heathen, right? You're counted as a heathen, okay? On this side, of course. Basically, man, they don't even want to with all these prophecies coming, they don't give a fuck about what's about to happen, okay? And a lot of these people, they have no works, only care about things for themselves, right? Don't care about the body of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, don't care about helping one another in terms of edifying the flock, okay? They don't care about feeding the sheep. But then when you see these ants, okay, these ants, the way they do things, it's charitable, okay? They're working in groups, okay? They are laboring, right, for a purpose, right, for a time, a period. Basically, that's how we should be as a people, okay? And when you're making these videos, right, we're our labor is not done in vain, okay? 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, and always abounding in the work of the Lord, for ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And ultimately, what we're doing right now, it has a purpose for a later time period. Okay? The prophecies that we're speaking of, okay, none of this is in vain, okay? And you just like, the same way an ant stores up food for the summer, okay, brings the food back to its tunnels, right, its ant holes or whatever you call it. It has a purpose, okay? Well, the men of the Lord, they have even a greater purpose, okay, to bring out prophecies, okay? To take an example of that, basically, right? Because the labor we're bringing out, man, it's going to be these people, right now, these people, they scoff at us, look down upon us the same way they look at the ants, okay? But soon, everything that we've been talking about, these people aren't going to even have a choice. It's going to affect their life one way or another, okay? These prophecies, you cannot run from these prophecies, okay? These famines, earthquakes, sedition among men, man having no pity upon his neighbor, the mark of the beast, famine of the word, droughts, plagues, okay, etc., etc., the destruction of America, Babylon the Great. Soon the whole world is going to see this, okay? And so when these people, they look at us like we're just some sort of ants, just remember, man, the ants were actually doing it. At least the ants are doing more work than you people, okay? And that's another thing too. The ants literally do more work, respectively, than a lot of these people, okay? And they're working out here all day, okay? It doesn't take a lot of time to go upload a video, a 10-minute lesson, okay? Even if you don't have many things to speak about, just read the scriptures, okay? Just repost another brother's video. You have 24 hours in a day. Every single person has 24 hours in a day, okay? And you're gonna say that, oh, I don't have the time, or I forgot. But when it comes to anything else, you people, you're so quick to spending time with your wife and your kids all day. When the baseball game comes on, or whatever the fuck people do, you can go and sit there and watch that for fucking 5 hours, right? When your boss goes and tells you to do something, you're immediately quick to do it, okay? But when it comes to doing the work of the Lord, you people, you don't even care, okay? And man, soon your works, man, you're gonna be wishing you had more works, okay? Because your faith and your works, these two things, they go hand in hand, okay? But this is another precept I'm going to bring out. Ecclesiasticus 22:2. A slothful man is compared to the filth of a dunghill, and every man that takes it up will shake his hand. Okay, so you're likened unto a piece of shit. That's really what you are, man. If you're one of these people, you have no works, especially if you're over here, commenting on brothers' pages, trying to teach them what this means, X, Y, and Z means, okay? Trying to say, oh, you're not supposed to judge, you're not supposed to be cussing. First of all, the scriptures speak about, roughly paraphrasing, judge righteously, okay? And second of all, cussing, right? Cursing, swear words, or whatever you want to call it. That's not even what cursing actually is, okay? the scriptures speak about being rude in speech. Okay, so yeah, some things are lawful but not expedient, but there's nothing necessarily wrong with swear words. Okay, and not to get too off topic, but there are just some comments on my page about oh, you shouldn't be cursing. You have to repent, okay? And fuck you, okay? No, yeah. In certain contexts, yeah, you don't want to be, you want to, you want to try to, keep your try to maybe there's a time and a place to use certain words, of course, right? But man, when these people, man, they don't even understand the scriptures. And you're a piece of shit. That's what you are, and you're gonna try to be basically. You have no videos on your channel, and you want to tell me to stop cursing, right, or stop uploading videos. Man, fuck you. Okay, why should I listen to a piece of shit like you? Okay, but I just wanted to mention that. I don't want to get too off topic, but also that's another thing, man. Don't let these people that have no works, okay, try to bring you to their level, okay, because really they see that you're doing the labor that you're supposed to do, and they get mad, okay, because they might not, they just don't do the work, and then that's the thing, bro. That's a slothful person. It's like a man who literally grabs shit with his hand and then shakes another man's hand with shit on his hand. Okay, and you want to try to avoid these people because as much as you can, because then if you are with them all the time, you're gonna start acting like them, being like them. Start missing. You might start missing videos. You might start forgetting the holy days, and that's something you want to, you have to avoid these slothful ass people, okay? A lot of these times these people have demons on them, okay? That's another thing, man. But this is 1 Corinthians 15 verses 8. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Okay? And we're gonna, let's see. Let me go to the blue letter Bible, and let's type this in. $15. All right. Bear with. All right. I'm going to go to verse 58. Let's go for the word abounding. Let's see. It says Strong's G4052.
Strong's G 4052. Perisuo.
It says increase, abundance, okay, exceeding, okay, to exceed a fixed number or a measure, okay, and that's what these ants, even these ants, they get so much food that they're carrying it. The food is literally bigger than them. Okay, they're carrying it and have so much food that it's exceeding. Okay, it's more food than they need. Okay, most of the time. Okay, so you have to be the same thing. You have to be abounding. Okay, always expanding. Continuing to add on more precepts, continuing to read, continuing to study more breakdowns, continuing to what else? do more lessons, go out on the highways and hedges. All these things add up, and you don't want to be like that murky water, okay? Because that murky water, it gets stagnant. It just sits there. It literally doesn't do anything. And then what use is it? Okay, it gets all this bacteria and trash. No, you want to be that flowing water, like Bruce Lee said. Okay, he said what did he say? He said, "Be like water." and Bruce Lee's an Israelite, so I'm just quoting from. I'm just paraphrasing here, but yeah, man, this is just an example. These ants, the Lord put the Spirit on the ants. Look at the ants as an example. Look at the ants as an example, and consider the ant, okay? Because they're laboring, right? The same way the prophets should be laboring, right? Always, working, okay? Okay, working, doing the work of the Lord, constantly, in season and out of season. 2 Timothy 4:2. Preach the word and be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. Okay? So we should be doing this work all the time. Okay? It's not do a couple of videos and then take a break for, 2 weeks, 2 months. That's not how it fucking works, bro. Until Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai puts a spirit on the prophets and that famine of the word hits, we have to continue to do the work, okay? But yeah, that's all I have to bring out with that. I'm gonna give all glory and honor to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Rakakodesh, and double honors to the apostles and elders at GMS. Shalom.